During early development, we had conceived of crafting a small open world town. The player would drive to the passenger, collect them, and take them to their desired destination, all the while encountering and attempting to avoid scary events, which would negatively impact the customer's satisfaction. Events could range from an inflamed police car, the spooky sound effects, or someone running in front of the player's vehicle. I had recognised the need for a system to help execute this. The open world meant that there was no way of guaranteeing the player's route, so they could potentially avoid any events that the designers would place in the world, which would lead them to missing out on one of the core features of the game. I had lengthy conversations with the designers to determine exactly the experience they wanted to craft for the player, so that I could design a system that would allow them to create it. The designers wanted two types of events in the game: key events and avoidable events. For avoidable events, the player would be made aware of them through affordance, giving them the opportunity to take a different route. Key events, on the other hand, were tied into the narrative and should always happen at some point during the level. The system I designed was comprised of two new actors called an Events Activator and an Events Manager, and required communication to an Events Actor parent and to affordance actors via an interface. Events Activators contained 3 box collisions that the designer can edit the scale of when placing them. The affordance volume box is used to detect all of the affordance actors within range, streamlining the process of setting up communication. The proximity box will trigger those affordance actors on player overlap, and the spawn box will spawn the events actor when the player crosses it. The events manager communicates all of the activators in the level, and manages how often activators can trigger, the type of event they spawn when they do, and specifically what actors they spawn. All of the functionality for the project was prototyped into the game when the decision was made to move away from the open world and focus on crafting linear levels. This meant that we could simplify it to a simple trigger system, as the designers would be able to determine the player's route.